Now, you seem to me to be a reasonably happy guy. I'm sitting here talking, and you seem well-adjusted and just a very pleasant fellow.
I can see where this is going.
So you put on The Devil and I, and the first track, This Is War, is one of the most gut-wrenching songs I've heard all year. When you talk about using all your skills to make somebody all their pills, and it's, wow, where did that come from?
I don't know. Is the answer to that really? I was talking to someone walking down the hall. They were asking me about it, and I don't really understand myself why I get I think it's because I went through when I was younger this big whole thing of watching. I used to want to be a movie director, and I really loved John Carpenter and stuff, and I really started kind of analysing low budget kind of horror movies and working out what if I was going to make one of these movies, what little tiny elements would I want to get dead right, and then I accidentally started writing music instead, if you know what I mean. And
right.
then I don't know if then in when I write I find I like to tell tales, as it were, rather than kind of just say what a bad day I've had, you know what I mean?
Well, that's true, because if you listen through to the album, the songs, and I know this is an overused word, are cinematic in the sense that they're not just a bunch of rhyming couplets, they actually tell a bunch of stories.
They're often narrative based, yeah.
Yeah. And this is all from the idea of trying to create little mini movies with music and voice?
Maybe. I mean, I think I just like, I've always liked, I mean, I like varied amounts of music, obviously, but I've always, like, you know, I always feel like I identify with the stuff that makes me feel sad more than the stuff that makes me feel happy, you know, because you only want to party kind of so often, whereas, you know, there are times when you're laying down or whatever, and you can really just immerse yourself. Like when I listen to Scott Walker, for example, a couple of his like last two albums, I don't know if you heard The Drift or Tilt. I mean, they're fascinating pieces of work because they're insanely dark. It's kind of like, you know, it's even I've had to turn off The Drift a couple of times because it was so dark.
Well, that's the thing about sad music is you can enjoy sad music alone. Happy, uplifting, positive music only has so much power if you're by yourself.
No, I
if you were
agree.
in a group, it's a different story.
And
But
you've all got your arms around each other and you're jumping around drunk.
it's all
Yeah.
terrific.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when you're at home in Leeds and it's raining again,
Yeah.
I can see how it would become mildly addicting.
I think the thing with me though is I tend to overanalyze a lot of things as well, and I tend to kind of it's one of my personality traits really. I worry a lot and I overanalyze every little thing, and I think in doing that in a negative way, in a positive way, I feel like I see things in movies or see things or hear things in lyrics that might not have intentionally meant to make me feel a certain way, and so I don't know. I just get a great deal of pleasure out of writing like little narratives. And I mean, and the truth of the matter is underneath the lyrics, there are real metaphors about me and stuff, but they're just so well disguised you'd never know really. It's kind of, you know, like I just I've never been one for writing songs about sunny days.
Why Lone Wolf?
That's kind of, I mean, a lot of people have picked me up on that because now I am going around with a band and stuff like that, you know, but so it's like, why would you call yourself Lone Wolf now? But I think it's because I do everything on the record by myself, like, apart from like the strings and the horns and stuff that I can't play. And I'm such a procrastinator, and it's like what goes on up here, like when I'm writing and stuff. It's kind of it's all me. It's like I don't let anyone in from the outside. You know, it's kind of like if someone offers me an idea, I'll kind of consider it for about a minute, and then I won't let it in again because I didn't have the idea. And it's not because I'm precious about what I do. It's just this weird little function that my brain has never learned to let people in. So I think that Lone Wolf was it's kind of like by name, by nature, really. I mean, and even though I'm on stage with a band, I'm still like you're hearing everything that I created, you know, in my kind of room with the door shut and locked, kind of thing.
From the outside, from people looking into England from the outside, it seems that there's some sort of singer-songwriter renaissance going on. We see bands like Mumford and Sons, and people such as yourself. Is that exactly what's happening? Is there like a
In the UK?
Yeah. Is there a burgeoning folk scene? I mean, there is something in West London I know that's happening, but does it spread beyond the capital?
Oh yeah, it's kind of. I think that's one of the reasons why I changed my name as well, because it's like if Paul Marshall isn't really the world's most memorable name. It's kind of like another John Smith. And it's just that kind of thing of there are a hell of a lot of singer-songwriters, but I mean then there's the singer-songwriters that are really doing something, and that you think, wow, there's still people out there that can just pick up an acoustic guitar.
Give me an example. Who's
well, like Bon Iver, for example.
Okay.
Or
we had them here just last week.
Oh really?
Yep.
There we go. And I mean Jason Molina.
Mm-hmm.
You know him? Like that album of his, Let Me Go, Let Me Go, Let Me Go, is like that is the saddest record I have ever heard in my entire life.
There's a Canadian guy by the name of Jason Bajada.
Okay.
And he released a record last year called Love Shit.
And it's
serious. And it is
I like that title.
11 or 12 songs that basically chronicles a breakup. And I think her name was Christine. I could be wrong, but her name is actually in the liner notes. And it is a real hide the knives record because he pours his heart out about this breakup, and it is terribly sad.
That's kind of the same sort of thing, I mean, as the record I was just describing. I think it's like you don't know what he's done, but he's done something bad, and I think he's lost the woman that he loves, kind of thing, And there's a point on the record where he describes like death as coming now in the next minute. And while you're listening to the song, even though the man's still alive, luckily I've met the guy. I know he didn't kill himself. But I don't know. I find stuff like that incredibly insightful, and I really enjoy hearing someone's pain put down on tape.
Would you have been a Cure fan or a Smiths fan?
I'm definitely a Smiths fan. Yeah. I mean, the Cure are a band that they never really passed me by, but I've just never quite dipped in far enough, as it were. But like the Smiths, big time. Morrissey's lyrics are amazing, and I'm more of like a Tom Waits kind of guy. Tom Waits, Nick Cave, Johnny Cash. Like they're as soon as I heard Johnny Cash sing "I Shot a Man in Reno Just to Watch Him Die," that did something straight away. I mean, it's because you see it, you envisage something, you kind of see what's in his head. You know what I mean when he says that, and it's like, wow. I don't know. I just like those kind of words.
Is this a debut album?
I released the record under my own name 2 years ago, called Vultures, and that was on like a really small label in the UK. And then Simon from Bella Union picked me up after that, but he kind of picked me up just as that album came out, so I had nothing to offer, and so I had to then take 2 years to go off and write that. And then it was towards the end of the writing process of that I changed my name. So it was going to be the next Paul Marshall album, but it became Lone Wolf. So,
well, Bella Union is a label on the ascendant. There's some really good acts on that label, and it's just a matter of good timing for you.
Well, I hope so. And I mean, that what comes with that is it's almost like the whole thing of with great power comes great responsibility. It's that thing of, as soon as, you're among so many great bands. I mean, you got Beach House, Fleet Foxes, Midlake.
But that's the kind of stuff that'll elevate your game.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
big time. I've got to. I don't want to be the one that that people listen to and go, "Wow, Bella Union made a mistake."
Right. So, was this record partially done in Sweden?
It was all recorded in Sweden.
Oh, why?
Well, a couple of things weren't.
Why Sweden?
I've got a bit of a weird like affinity with Sweden, because I mean my girlfriend's Swedish, and And I took it upon myself in this mad crusade years ago to learn how to speak Swedish. I've got no idea why I really did it. You know, I think I was doing it to impress Sophie at the time, like my girlfriend now. Then I toured with a band called Jennifer Ever, and they're from Uppsala in Sweden, and got close to the lead singer, who turned out to be a really great engineer. And then I